required by law.
Okay, now, the discussion on the parking for Bath Avenue and West Street.
Yes, so this is something the traffic division brought up to us, monitoring the kids that cross there by Indiana and Bath and Westwood every day. They felt that if we prohibited parking on Bath Avenue and the LT will tell you exactly where, that it would be safer for them. The road as you turn and just as you cross the tracks kind of narrows down a little bit, and I think they feel it would be safer if we prohibited parking on that one side and then tell them exactly where they're looking at.
Yeah. So this is the first time we've done this where we've come to you with a problem we found opposed to getting complaints or requests. Crossing guards, school officials, right where that intersection is, you've seen that crossing guard at Indiana and Bath. I mean, every day it's very busy. So,
I turn to it every day.
yeah, okay, yeah.
I live on Indiana.
There you go. So what we're trying to do, because they put the pedestrian signs in the middle of the road, the knockdowns, it really narrows it down. So if there's a car parked there and then the sign, kids crossing, they're weaving in between. So kids, we've had some near misses, and before that happens, we just want to resolve that. So what we want to do is the building on the north side of the street, we're from the tracks all the way to west, we're gonna make that no parking. And then there's actually, they call it fouling the tracks. There's a certain approach whenever you're dealing with the railroad tracks. On the other side of the street, we're gonna just properly mark it. We don't need an ordinance to do it. It's done by law, so we're gonna mark the two sides so that when the kids are there and school buses are there, there's just more room. That's really.
It's a good idea, but have you ever considered too on Bath Avenue from Norwood, keeping the parking off of one side of it? Because I don't know if you've been there, but as soon as you come down Norwood, Bath Avenue from Norwood or from Broadway, you can't fit two-way traffic if there's two cars parked on both sides. I don't know if you noticed that we were on it the other day, Mary Jane and I, and we actually had to pull over for another car to come. And Bath Avenue going east from Division Street all the way down to the high school is no parking. It's only from Division Street or Spring Street up to Broadway there's parking.
There's parking on both sides of the
No.
street there.
I don't know, that's something to look into the future.
A lot of that, we haven't touched it because a lot of that area, most of this stuff is zoning driven. So the zoning and the way it is in that area, people just don't have places to park. If we remove that,
No, I was just thinking
I
one
know,
side.
it'd be great. I know,
You
it'd be great.
definitely need one side.
Right.
Yeah, if you go further down, you see there's a lot of big apartment buildings, and they
Yes.
have lots that they can park in. If you go the other way, there's only like single-family homes and not really too many, and they're kind of tight, and they're not really too many places to park.
Is this just gonna be on a part of West Street? Not the whole
It's-
West Street?
No,
It's
it's
actually from Bath at West Street.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
from West, on Bath Avenue, not West
Bath
Street.
Avenue from West Street toward the tracks.
No,
right?
not Bath, I'm talking about West Street.
No, it's just, West is just the line we measured from. It's not on West, it's on Bath, so from West, down
Right.
Bath to the tracks, that's that section.
Okay.
That's it, that we're asking for today.
I'm okay with it. I like
How many
the idea.
parking, doesn't look like a lot, how many parking?
It's not, you know,
It's not.
if you really take the
Yeah,
track and the
maybe.
fouling out of it, like 4 maybe,
Yeah,
legally.
It's
Yeah,
not a
when I
lot.
look at it, it doesn't
Yeah.
look like there's that many.
You're gonna eliminate both sides or just one side?
Well, so the one side is what's gonna be in the ordinance, and then on the other side, there is going to be lines put in, but just done legally from the tracks. You know, you have setbacks from,
Definitely, yeah.
so we're just gonna
Stop
mark it up
signs.
properly for the pupil area.
Yeah, that's a very big, when I try to go home at 3 o'clock, I can't
There's so
go that
many
way
people there,
because
yeah.
it's not even that, it's on Indiana Avenue, the rainy days or the cold days. They got the signs there, no standing or stopping, but I don't blame them because they're picking up their kids, they got nowhere else to go.
I know, it's hard.
You know what I mean? So, I'll just go around the other way.
The crossing guards do a great
But
job
it
there.
only lasts a half hour, so I gotta live with it. That's a good idea.
Yeah, thanks. And then we had one more.
I think you guys wanted to discuss the parking on Ocean Avenue.
The 30-minute parking in front of Charlo's Lighthouse.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I had a conversation with Mr. Clano, the owner, and if you recall, earlier this year, we discovered that the past practice of limiting the timing parking to 30 minutes wasn't supported by an ordinance. So the police department didn't put the signs up. We gave it a run to see what impact it would have. I was approached by Mr. Clano about 2 weeks ago. He said it did have an adverse impact on his business. This is a practice that the police department had in place for several years.
probably since he moved there.
Yeah. So it's our suggestion that we return to that practice, but do it legally with an ordinance that supports the erection of the signs for 30-minute parking, if that's agreeable with council.
Seasonal though.
Yep, yes.
Right, seasonal.
And we would have to, what was your practice? That was one question I had.
We have like what we call summer signs, so from May 1st to September 30th, they go out and put up all the signs and they take them down. So that the sign, the poles will stay in place, but the signs go
Yep.
down.
Do we need to amend the ordinance?
I have one here, yeah, but, there was no ordinance, we just,
Yeah, that
the
was
signs
all.
were up and there was no ordinance.
We put them up, I think, years ago to see if it was gonna work, and then it's just one of those things that never got done.
If you guys remember, it was in the area we were talking about resident parking, and so Mr. Jackson had me review the ordinance and remove all signs that weren't supported by the ordinance. So that's why they came down.
Good idea.
It's
Have you
agreeable.
been down by the school when the students are let out in that particular corner that you're talking about? I don't know what you can do. Can't stop them.
I know.
I'm not sure there's anything we can
It
do.
is some mess.
We'd like to do something, but yeah, I don't know what we can do down there. There's usually one of our guys there, if not more than one, you know, when they get out every day and they,
No, middle school.
Yeah. they try to watch them, they try and do what they can, but sometimes they're busy on calls, they can't get there every single day, so we usually try to have a car in the area.
And the school's really stepped it up too. We've trained their personnel in crossing also, so they assist and they've been trained, which we've never done before, so they've really
You guys
been
are doing a
extra.
great job. You even had a guy on Chelsea the other day. Chelsea on Third.
Is there someone on
Couldn't even
West
see all his
End,
eyes.
Yeah.
West End and Westwood too, when the
West
students
End
are,
and West.
So the parking time limit one you've already
don't think so.
discussed, is that the idea?
there was
That's it.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that all
West-
right? Any questions?
No, I'm good.
No, we're good. I think
Well, an
that's
amended ordinance for next
definitely,
meeting.
they need
I gave
attention
it
in that
to
corner.
I don't, I only see the, Bath
Right.
Avenue one, we don't have the other one yet?
I gave it, I don't think she wanted to put it on because she wanted to talk about it. I have it, I can send it.
Okay.
You can give you these. I put a highlighter on it.
Cool, thanks.
You're welcome. She definitely has them, Kev.
So
Are you all right
there
with
isn't
that?
one on corner of West
Okay.
End and.
I gotta, there's 30, I gotta look at the list, but I don't recall that one.
No, I don't recall there one either.
That was a problem, I remember son you getting hit over it.
Isn't there one on, there's one on Sayers in the West End, right? There's definitely one there.
Yeah, I'm talking about the other side.
On the other side, I don't know if there's one there.
When we do the counts, one of the big things that people don't look at, we cross for middle school, not for high school, and that's what a lot of people, they just see kids and don't know the ages, so when we do the surveys, we do it based on their ages, and a lot of times when it's that far, they're high school kids, and we don't provide crossing records.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. You
Yes.
just do it for middle school?
Middle school, yeah.
Oh, and elementary,
Yes.
Mhm.
yeah. Okay.
So are you okay with it?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
Thanks,
you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
We have the review of the regular agenda. Any questions?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. It's a quick meeting.
Yes.
I need a motion to close.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to adopt a resolution to go into executive session for the following: contract negotiations, Ocean Gate, personnel matters, salary ordinance, union contract, and a board appointment.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Mr. Viera,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
yes.
and Dr. Selly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, if we need